If a small business guy picks up RevOps Manifesto, how's that going to help them?
The manifesto is a response to gobbledygook of here's how you run or here's how you structure RevPartners. So if you look at tenet number one, it's just really clear, is a process, thus a CRM, doesn't exist unless you have adoption. So just like fun, like it's helping people, like adoption is the only thing that matters. And if that's the only thing that matters, that like sets everything else. And then it's really simple things. Cause I get this question all the time. It was just saying, this is like a response to this question is, Matt, how do I do RevOps? I'm like, well, first off, you're already doing it. The real question is, how do I do RevOps well? And if you're not doing everything on this manifesto, then do it. So the next one is, I know this sounds simple, but do you run a weekly, never canceled sales meeting in a CRM, not an Excel, period? Yes, or all these are yes or no. Yes or no. No, start. Do you manage your sales team? Meaning like, if you don't have this opportunity or a close date correct, do you manage your sales team from a dashboard in a CRM? Yes or no. So they're different weekly, and then you're managing. It's a yes or no questions. Next is, as always, you are attempting, when you make decisions, you say, do I have more than one database? And if you say yes to that question, your intent and where you're going should be decreasing databases. So the next one is, I shall decrease at all points the number of databases I use. I shall eliminate every Excel and Google Sheet that I use. It's a way to think. And if like, you just take this and you just apply this, you do some actions and you do some of these yes, no actions, you will be doing RevOps better. All the tenets all the manifesto are best practices in a very succinct method so that you can move faster and decrease friction.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, Kevin, I don't know if I had something you said earlier. Look, our mission is to democratize revenue operations. And so the way in which we do that is these manifestos, and how do we make these things consumable? If you think about the bell curve, on the right side of the bell curve, the top performers, that's historically kind of that B2B SaaS that know what it is, understand the pain, and have invested in it. There's a whole 80% under that bell curve that could experience that benefit. They just don't know how. And so how do we create a way in which we democratize that for kind of that 80% under the bell curve? And then the thing that I want to tie back to something you said, Kevin, is you were talking about like why you would hire RevOps as a service as opposed to a full-time employee. And you talked about increasing the probabilities. That's something you even talked about on our podcast in terms of the staffing. But the same concept applies to RevOps. Like we're trying to increase your probability of hitting the revenue target. And if you do if you do this adoption, it drives the right behaviors, which increase your probability of ultimately hitting the targets that you have set forth as a company.